Hi, can you guys hear me? If a couple of you could type something in so that I can make sure that voice is live, that would be awesome. All right, yay, thank you. So, welcome to the top 5 crystals that you need today. I'm actually feeling very crystal oriented today. First things first, before we get started, is I wanted to show off some crystal gorgies. So this is actually a gorgeous necklace made by one of the Smile employees, Jen Pape, and you'll get links to her at the end of class and in your handout, but take a look at that. Rhodochrosite, rose quartz, hematite, moss agate, or tree agate, I can't remember which. And you'll actually be learning about 2 of those crystals today. The other one is one that I always wear. And it got slightly tangled. Long jeans. This is my clear crystal quartz. And stop moving. So it can be hard to see, but I wire wrapped that myself. And that's another great way to utilize crystals. I always have them with me. I have crystals in my purse. I have a whole chakra kit in my purse. I have this lovely specimen of yellow and green fluorite that is excellent for communication. And I always keep this in my office for difficult meetings. So anybody want to share some of the ways that, before we get started, that they use crystals? I want to see what kind of ways you use crystals, and I want to make sure that I can hit on the different topics that you might want to explore about crystals today. Isabel, yes, there's absolutely ways to heal stress in a person's mind. We're going to be talking about some of those crystals today. Anybody else? Well, we only have 12 attendees, 13 attendees, but we actually have way over 100 people supposedly attending this evening. Ooh, Lisa, good question. And that is possible. It's way more advanced than today's class, but there will be continuing crystal education classes to come. All right. Okay, Sandra, we're actually going to talk about some of beginning crystals. In fact, the 5 best crystals for beginners and how and why to use it. And feel free to just type your questions in, and I will absolutely get to them as we go along. Sorry, I'm just reading the multitude of questions that just exploded on the screen. Putting them in your pockets and sleeping with them, Miriam, is absolutely excellent. Okay, so let's get started. So in order to even discuss crystals, we kind of have to understand what they are and what they do. And if you're really new to crystals, you need to understand the basic premise of how and why they work in order to truly understand later on how to make them work more for you. So crystals are actually minerals that formed deep in the Earth's crust very long time ago. Basically, time and compression, heat created a multitude of different types of minerals that actually aren't just by themselves, but they actually grow together. There are crystals that, let me see a good one. One of them that we have at Smile on a couple of necklaces, Unakite. Unakite is actually two different kinds of crystals that have grown together to make this gorgeous pink and green, a speckled gem that actually works not only on filling the heart with loving kindness, but also works for fertility. It's an awesome crystal. And that's two different minerals that somehow were in the earth together, and some geological event happened that kind of pushed them to grow together in a matrix. I could actually probably go for hours on the geological science behind crystals, but we don't have hours. It's important to know that they are completely natural minerals, meaning they came from the earth, from different mineral in I guess the earth's crust, in the rocks, but not as deep as the crust. Compressed over time, sort of like diamonds. When diamonds are made from coal that, or carbon that has been sitting over time for many, many years, thousands sometimes, compressing and compressing and compressing until a diamond is formed. Same thing with all different kinds of crystals. Crystals actually have an atomic arrangement, and that means just the way they grow. So who here, what's a good one as an example? Okay, so who, maybe nobody, hopefully everyone has heard of clear crystal quartz. Clear crystal quartz, this is actually faceted and polished, but clear crystal quartz has facets. And what I mean by a facet is, can you see how it kind of angles up towards the point at one point on each side? Well, clear crystal quartz, and actually all quartzes, grow in that exact same way. Sometimes the sides are unequal, but they have a certain number of sides, and they all grow up towards a point. And it depends on whether the crystal's fractured or how you've harvested, how they, have harvested the crystal, as to whether the crystal is going to come out intact with all those points. But that's just how they grow. Every single crystal of quartz, whether it's amethyst or rose quartz, grows in that exact same way. Let's see. So that's what are crystals. They're also really, really pretty. But they're not just pretty. Crystals produce electricity. That's the cool one. So the term is piezoelectric, and then there's pyroelectric, which means, well, let's start with piezo. Piezoelectric means that the crystals, due to some kind of exerting force, so any kind of catalyst of force like pressure or coming in contact with our bodies and our skin and our energy field, has a unique ability with crystals that the crystal will produce electricity. Anybody not hear of crystal watches and crystal timepieces? Or is anybody wearing a watch right now that when you look at it, it says quartz on the watch face? I don't wear watches, so I can't hold it up to the camera. But that's not some crazy term. It's real crystal quartz that is being used to direct the energy to make the watch work and keep time. So in case you didn't even realize it, if you're wearing a watch and it says quartz on it, you probably have pure quartz crystal that you're walking around with all the time, and that's pretty neat. Pyroelectric means it creates electricity via temperature change, so via excessive heat. It can actually create an electrical charge that way. So crystals have direct, scientifically proven properties to show that they aren't just dead, lifeless mineral things that are just sitting there to look shiny or pretty. They've also proven that crystals vibrate. And what I mean by that is, without going, and this is a whole weekend worth of topic, vibrational healing is basically that everything has a frequency. Everything has a vibration. The earth itself actually has a frequency and a vibration. Our bodies are bits of cells held together by vibration. The slower something vibrates, the more visible it becomes. The faster something vibrates, the less visible it becomes. So light has vibration. We can't actually see the vibration, we just see the light from it. Crystals have vibration. Our bodies vibrate very slowly, which is why we come out as solid form. And that is a scientific fact. Not to mention, the higher you vibrate, the lighter and less dense things become. So think about that on an energetic level for a minute, and we will get to that. And crystals heal. Now we're going to get to it. The part about vibration healing is a word you need to understand in terms of crystals is in training. And what that means is when you put, it's better to do it with a prop in my hand. Let's say I have this wonderful crystal, and then I have this little bit of ceramic right here. If I put this gorgeous crystal, which has, its communication properties, closer and closer and closer and closer to this simple piece of plain pottery, and you take some time to let them sit together, the vibration that the pottery gives off would change. It would raise. It would not lower. Same thing with crystals. And I'll be the demonstration. The more time I spend with a certain crystal, the more the lowest of the vibrations begins to raise to match the crystal or whatever has the higher vibration. Now, me being a silly mortal person, I have less vibration than this crystal does. This crystal's certain vibration can actually raise the level of my vibration over time. And that's what we're really talking about today, is being able to heal and change vibrational patterns, which inspires healing and inspires other mind, body, and emotional effects by using the crystal to change how you are in relation to the world. And hopefully as we go through the 5 different crystals and we talk about them, that'll become more apparent. Does anybody have a question or two directly on this, but not, well, what crystal heals for this, because we'll get to it? Anybody need a little extra help with the vibrational healing aspect to have me explain? Okay. And there would be plenty of time for questions at the end. Okay, here we go. Can the healer feel the vibration, Isabel? Sometimes. I'm attuned to vibration where I can feel it. If I really, really, really focus, I can feel heat coming off of things. I can feel, especially since I'm a Reiki healer, these are your nadis. It's another type of energy center chakra in the palms of my hands. I can feel energy from that if it's strong, and if I'm not letting my mind run, which, disclaimer, I had coffee this afternoon. You guys are in for a fun evening because I'm a little nuts. So there we go. And Rhonda, the slower something vibrates. Okay, so the slower something vibrates, the closer it is to, or the lower the frequency of vibration. Because we want to talk about speed, but really, if we think about vibration in terms of sound, it makes it a little easier to understand. So the higher the vibrational frequency, the more uplifting and life force giving, buoyant type of energy it puts out. The slower and lower frequency something vibrates, the closer it is to dying, basically, to becoming, so like green beans picked right off the vine, decently high little vibration there. Then you have, once you've boiled the heck out of it, it's gotten a lot lower. Canned green beans, they're dead. No vibrational frequency whatsoever. Nutritionally, I guess it has some nutrition, but not as much as the fresh would have, and that's evident in vibrational theory as well. How do you get better at feeling the vibrations of crystals? Awesome question, Carolyn. So to get better at it, you just have to spend time with it. And I know it sounds like such a cop-out. I actually, I've always had a love for crystals and gems and geology, but I spoke with one of my teachers and I asked her, hey, can I get some special attention, like you gave this other student learning about crystals? And her answer was very flippant, I guess, at the time, but it was correct. And the answer was, spend some time with the crystals. She put it as, attune with the crystals. Talk to the crystals. Get to know your crystal. Have a conversation with your crystal. And me being a 23-year-old new to all of this person, I was like, you've lost your mind. What are you talking about? Just teach me about the crystals. But she was right. The more time you spend with a crystal, not unless you actually do hear voices from things, in which case 50-50 chance you're either nuts or you have some kind of psychic ability where you do actually are able to have other sensations such as smell, taste, touch, or sound that gives you other clues about what you're interacting with in the world. If that's the case, then yeah, you might hear them talking to you. Me, no, it doesn't work that way for me. What works that way is I hold on to the crystal and I pay attention to how I feel and what changes for me in my life over a certain period of time. Some people call it meditating with the crystals, where you can actually go ahead and do a crystal meditation, which is going to be in my next class. I'm actually going to lead a crystal meditation on that. But long story short, the more time you spend around the crystal, you have to pay attention to how you feel. Okay. So next up, clear crystal quartz. One of the top fives. I mean, I wear it around my neck. So it conducts and creates electricity. That is a very cool thing. We have in our bodies a kind of light column where it's like a torus of energy, meaning like the Earth, and picture out of the axis of the Earth, energy going up and around and through it, up and around and through it, up and around and through, like those old globes that would have the little thing going through the globe holding the top and the bottom of the globe together. Think of it that way. It's the top of the globe holder is your head, the bottom of the globe holder is your feet, and energy moves through. And it can become stuck, especially when we end up talking about chakras. Long story short, you can actually activate that column of light and energy to start moving through your body using clear crystal quartz and a more complicated stone that I did not put in here because it's not one of the 5 best ones, but it's helpful, and it's called lodestone. So a natural magnetic magnetite, which is called a lodestone, and you can easily find them searching online. Amazon even carries lodestones. And the point of it being is it has a magnetic component to it. And by using that and our natural bioelectric field, this beautiful clear crystal quartz, which, by the way, isn't this pretty? I just have to gush. I really want that piece of crystal. I have a gorgeous piece of crystal similar, but the light just wouldn't do it justice in here. I will gladly bring it in to smile and show anybody who ever wants my gorgeous piece of Himalayan crystal. But you could put a crystal like this, or just one single point right at the top of your head, laying down, and put the lodestone right in between your 2 feet. And that will activate your bioelectric field to start moving and circulating and refreshing through your body. So it is awesome, clear crystal quartz, and it can be used for every purpose, because the whole point of crystal quartz is it can be whatever you want to use it for, because it really is a supportive crystal. Anything you choose for clear crystal quartz to be, it can lend its energy to. So if you're using it for prosperity, you would use other stones with it, but it will help amplify and move that prosperity vibration around you and with you, so that you will vibrate and attract other prosperous vibrations to you, as well as lifting the vibration around you higher to one that meets one of prosperity and abundance. And we are going to, the next crystal, I promise, is about prosperity and abundance. Promise. So quartz is actually amethyst. That's actually quartz. Rose is also known as rose quartz. It's quartz, smoky quartz. The little yellow-orange citrines, that is quartz as well. So there are so many different varieties of quartz. So when it comes down to it, just knowing or having a good reference book or knowing about color can often lead you to knowing what a crystal will do in any certain situation. So try it. Try adding a clear quartz to amplify anything that you do with any other type of crystal. Another try it that I didn't add on here, and it is in another slide, is drop a clear crystal quartz if you've got one. Actually, this is a great test. So take a bottle or a glass of water, clean, fresh glass of water, rinse it out. Or a clean, fresh glass, 2 of them, rinse them out. In one, put a cleaned crystal quartz point. Even something as small as this would be fine. Put that in the glass and fill it with water from the faucet. Take the other glass that you had just did the same process to, don't put a crystal in it, and fill the glass up with water from the faucet. Leave them in the exact same place, about 2 feet apart from one another on the counter, so that nothing's going to change about the glasses. You know, one's not colder than the other or warmer than the other, or, you know, in the way of cat hair or anything else. Make sure that they're equal, and then do a taste test. This flipped my lid when my crystal teacher had me try that, and boy was she right. The glass with the quartz crystal of water just tastes better, was more refreshing. I just kept wanting to drink it. It was wonderful. So you may want to try that. How long do you let the water sit? You can actually let the water sit all day. You can actually keep refilling it. Once the crystal's been in there for about an hour, you will notice the difference. An hour is usually about as long as it takes. Let's see, how do you re-energize your crystal? Sana, that's a really good question. My next class actually talks about charging and programming crystals. But basically, re-energize your crystal as long as it's a color-fast crystal. And that's not something to go into today, but there are lots of crystals that will start to fade in sunlight. But like all the crystals that we are talking about today do not fade in sunlight. Put it outside between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12 noon and in the sunlight, and that re-energizes the crystal. And Isabel, Smile Herb Shop absolutely sells crystals. We have tons of great starter crystals, and then we also have additional resources if you're looking for larger, more expensive pieces. Okay, let's go to aventurine. I love aventurine. I think you guys have a little hand-raising thing that you get to raise your hand if you've heard of aventurine. So please, I would love to know if you guys have heard of it before. Sorry, I'm very thirsty today. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody knowing about aventurine. Oh, wait. Yeah, some people have heard of aventurine. Awesome. Okay. So aventurine is a beautiful green stone, and we actually, here at Smile, I've gotten a lot of my aventurine here. We have a really, really nice one. Aventurine is quartz with mica and a few other things, and if you know anything about minerals or mica, mica shines. It has like a natural shimmer to it. So the mica inclusions in this one that we have here, I really, really like because they'll catch the light, even though they're tumbled and polished so that they're not rough anymore. You can still see like shards of the mica, and it just catches the light. It's really pretty. Like I'm hovering my mouse, hopefully you can see it. They look kind of like this. It's just got that darker color and then these little bits of bright, and it's so pretty. But it's not only for pretty. That's what I keep having to tell myself about crystals, because they are just so gosh darn pretty. So aventurine is a healing stone and a stone for growth. So pregnant women, use some aventurine. You can use it for the healing of anything really, healing of wounds. Green is corresponds to the heart chakra, so you can use it to heal a broken heart. Physically, it actually does benefit, or has been shown to benefit physiologically the heart itself, not just energetically. The only thing you don't want to use it for in terms of healing is cancer, and the reason for that is because it's a growth stone. It promotes growth. So yes, you may want to heal from cancer, but you don't want to do it through growth. So, you know, there's other crystals that can be used for that, which we're not going to discuss right this second because that would take hours. Again, anybody can definitely send me private question through my email, smileherbolivia@gmail.com, and I'm happy to, if it's a cancer question, put together a couple of stone choices that would help that particular issue, because really I don't want to give a blanket statement and it not work for one type over another. I would much rather just give it the time and thought it deserves and give an answer that way. Will it work as a stone? Oh, thanks, Carolyn. Will it work as a stone necklace? Absolutely. You can keep crystals in your pockets. You can put them on a necklace like I have here. The rose quartz in this and the hematite, protective and fostering love. And we were going to talk about rose quartz in a minute. But back to aventurine. Green being the color of money. Green being the color of growth, the color of full summer, when the earth is just blossoming and burgeoning forth with bounty. That's the color of aventurine, and as such, and with growth, it's used for prosperity and abundance. So you can absolutely keep an aventurine in your pocket or wallet or in a necklace. But what you want to do is you want to use that, and maybe even use it with the quartz crystals, to hold on to it and keep it with you and shift your awareness. And that can always be a funny thing to talk about. But what I mean by shifting your awareness is, so often, and I tell this to people every single day at Smile Almost, so often you're in a place of lack. And what I mean by a place of lack is, times are tough, money can be tough. We have an agitation and an expectation and a worry about money. Those thoughts have energy. They are a vibration. That vibration ripples out. And as we know about vibration, low things raise to the highest vibration. That higher vibration does not lower to the lower vibration. That's not the way vibration works. So what we're kind of talking about is shifting that vibration that you have, that lower vibration about worry and lack, sometimes shame about money, distrust about money, growing up poor, growing up not having enough. That stays with you. That stays in your energetic field, and that can make it difficult for that vibration of abundance and prosperity to stick with you, to bring opportunities towards you so that you can raise yourself to that vibration. And by shifting your awareness to a crystal, just like aventurine, you're creating space and giving the opportunity for your vibration to raise to the vibration of the crystal, which then will ripple out and attract those opportunities for you to create that abundance and prosperity and to have enough. It'll bring those to you by you shifting your vibration. In other words, be a magnet for prosperity, but the right kind of magnet, not the opposite so it pushes it away. You want to be the magnet that attracts it. So hopefully I made some sense with that. And then it's actually a stress reliever. Believe it or not, this wonderful little stone that helps with healing and growth and prosperity and abundance can also work to relieve stress. So you can even use it to give yourself a massage. You can put it in your glass of water while you're a little bit stressed out, and see how that does for you. See if it does help indeed to calm you and bring you a sense of well-being and that everything's going to be okay. Let's see, Sandra. So jewelry store jewelry is interesting. If it is the real stone, like if you pick up like this is a white sapphire. My engagement ring was a white sapphire because I didn't want a diamond. It's a real white sapphire. So sapphires have certain energetic properties. fidelity and love and longevity being one of them. So that is what makes it a good choice for an engagement ring. Yeah, it's a pure stone in a setting, but it's a pure stone. The difference is you're going to want to cleanse it because it's obviously gone through lots of manufactured hands and might have lots of different attachments to it, and we don't want that. Cleansing. I'm going through probably 6 different ways of cleansing crystals in my next class. Here's the way that works for everybody. Get a dish of salt. Just plain old pure sea salt. Dish, put your crystal on it, leave it there for a day. Take your crystal off, brush the salt off, you're good. Salt neutralizes any negative or energetic attachments to a crystal and allows the crystal to just be itself, usually within about 24 hours. So I would just do that. Okay. So let me take another drink. Oh, I'm part camel. Hematite. These cute little tiny black spacer stones on my necklace are hematite. I know a lot of people have heard about hematite. Hematite is not naturally magnetic, but they do create a magnetic hematite. They're using a little lodestone in that composition, and it's usually hematite dust and the fractured pieces that they tumble and polish, and they create hematite. It's still hematite. It absolutely is hematite, but it's not this rough, natural piece that is seen right here. So hematite is very grounding, very centering, works on the root chakra. People who need to speak out and have a difficult conversation, they love hematite. Especially women who have trouble, even though it's not a throat chakra stone, women who have trouble being assertive often find hematite helpful. It fosters their confidence and gives them courage. Physically, hematite does work on bones, especially broken bones, fractures, sprains and strains. Oh, by the way, FDA disclaimer. All of this is, I'm not a doctor, this is not meant to replace any kind of medical care or coverage, diagnose, or treat. But it has been shown effective to keep a piece of hematite when you're trying to heal a sprain or a strain or a fracture or a break. Zoe, yes, osteoporosis and osteoarthritis can be helped with hematite. It's also a pain-relieving stone, so just wearing it or keeping it around the area that's causing trouble, or even meditating with it or sleeping with it near or across the area can be beneficial. It's protective. So what that means is, ever go to some place where you just don't feel okay, like you're worried that something might happen, or you just feel very exposed and nervous? Hematite is a great grounding stone, and because of that is also a very protective stone. So it gives you that fortification and strength and feeling of protection. And by doing that, your vibration shifts to one of, I am protected. And that is an energy that other people, once they get in your energetic field, doesn't make you so easy a mark when you put off that kind of confidence and vibe. And that's how hematite works. Metal joint replacement. Lisa, I have never even thought about that question before. That is a really good one. As long as it's not magnetic hematite, I don't think it would be contraindicative to the metal joint replacement. Yeah, I don't think it would be, but it wouldn't affect the joint replacement because that is metal. It would only affect the bone part. But I will admit that's not something I've done a lot of research into, but I can look into it. So try it. Wear a hematite. Wear a hematite on a necklace. Keep it in your pocket. Carry it around with you. And if you ever get any kind of services like Reiki or any other healing services, or you're getting a massage or aromatherapy or doing yoga and you don't feel grounded, hematite is excellent. Especially if you feel a little woozy or wibbly, go ahead and you put hematite down near your feet, or even just rub hematite across the bottoms of your feet, the soles, and it works great. Hematite is not something that you would drop into water. All of the crystals that are for today you can definitely drop into water. Hematite, not so much, because you never want to really drop, unless it's quartz, a rough stone into water to drink, just because pieces can break off and mineral content can be leached out of certain stones. So hematite, I wouldn't put in water. But the rest of the ones we're talking about, yes. Let's see here. Tiger's eye. Okay, look at this. Come on now. Just appreciate the pretty and the shiny. And that isn't even a great picture of tiger's eye. I mean, it does show the banding, but you really have to see a tiger's eye in person and like move it in the light, and you see all of this gorgeous refraction and glow coming from inside the crystal. So it inspires new beginnings and creativity. It's also a confidence building stone because it's a solar plexus stone. And it helps with honing your intuition and your gut instinct. So anybody ever feel a tightening in their gut ever? That is or right near your solar plexus, so the spot between the breasts, or on the breastbone, and the navel. Right in between your belly button and that in between the breasts area is your solar plexus. And if you've ever felt like a little tightening there, some people call it like the pit of their stomach, what you're feeling is a gut instinct, a gut reaction. And tiger's eye enhances that. So if you happen to be in like a job or situations where you do have to rely a lot on your intuition or your gut instinct, tiger's eye is your stone. Physically, it supports the digestive system. You can actually get a nice big chunk of tiger's eye and put it right on your belly, and you will notice that it's going to have an effect on your digestion. I have several friends who've tried that out. I've used it myself, and it some people say it's psychosomatic, but no, it really does work. Let's see. It's also a feel-good stone, and I mean, look at it. How can you not feel good with that? It gets rid of negative feelings. It calms and it grounds, and it's just a really awesome stone to both wear and carry with you. Red tiger's eye is different. Red tiger's eye is not the same as the traditional tiger's eye. I mean, it does some of the same things, but it's not really solar plexus and gut feelings. It does have an effect on the digestive system, but it's more of a root chakra stone. And I would use the red tiger's eye in conjunction with the regular tiger's eye, because red tiger's eye is going to give that burst of fire and drive to the new beginnings and creativity. So I guess you could say it would be a prescription. To have the two together would be like a prescription for manifestation of the, creative thoughts to turn them into reality. Let's see here. and rose quartz. So rose quartz, I wasn't actually going to put rose quartz in this particular grouping of crystals this time around. And something changed in me. It was actually this necklace that I received today, and something about it was just so utterly perfect inside that my dislike of rose quartz, and not really a dislike, just a antipathy towards it, completely changed. And now I've turned into a rose quartz love bug. So about rose quartz, it inspires love, but not just, oh, puppy love, all kinds of love. Friends, parents, children, coworkers, anybody you come into contact with can really be I guess it's just a benefit for the ability to give and receive love to all people, including yourself. So being able to give love to yourself and being willing to receive love from yourself and from others, all is benefited by rose quartz. Rose quartz is a healing stone for anything concerning the heart. So issues from childhood, pain of loss or abandonment, breakups that you've never quite been over, all of those can be affected and help to heal with rose quartz. Negative emotions and thoughts and experiences that we hold on to, and they just sit there and sit there and sit there and sit there. Yes, Ron, it is good for grief, and they just sit there. Well, rose quartz helps to push them away from the heart so that the heart can begin to heal. So it's also really good for fertility and a woman's moon cycle. Rose quartz is the natural just woman's stone when it comes to the womb. And the rose quartz can help relieve not really relieve the pain so much, but more the waves of pain that rock back and forth. It allows you to move with them instead of just standing there frozen and getting hit back and forth with the pain. And that's how rose quartz works with that. Physically, it works with the skin. In fact, my awesome skin oils that I have, that I manufacture and sell here at Smile, they get charged with rose quartz. Now, rose quartz would be the perfect crystal to keep, and one of my students actually does this all the time, but keep rose quartz in a pitcher in the fridge of water. It's awesome. Not only does it taste good, but it keeps everybody calm and happy. There's less arguments. It's a great stone to use for that. Did we really go through all those crystals? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my goodness, we've already gone through all 5 of the crystals, and it's already 7:52. Okay, time flies when I'm having fun. Let's see some other questions. Raw rose quartz. Yup, Danielle, keep that rose quartz everywhere. It's awesome. Okay, difference in quality of crystals and stone. Yes, there are. In order to really be able to embrace the difference in quality, you kind of need to know a lot more about the Mohs hardness scale and what a crystal is supposed to be made out of, have one of those fun little gemstone eye thingies and be able to look at the crystal and really see if it matches up with the finest quality crystals of that same type. For this kind of a class, and just for starting and beginning with crystals, just grab the crystal that you feel drawn to. Something that says, this is supposed to come home with me. This feels right. And start with that and allow your gut to guide you. Sheila, benefits of citrine, that's going in my next class, but briefly, citrine is confidence and prosperity. It is also a digestive stone. For prosperity, just keep it in the furthest left corner of your house from the front door. That's the wealth corner in Feng Shui, and it can work there. And I've had a lot of people use it as a digestive ease by putting it on their solar plexus. So for some continuing crystal education, I did send you guys a handout that you can download from your little webinar application thingy on the side of your screen. I'm sure it has a name, but I don't know what it is. And it has links. I am teaching a Crystal Healing 101, January 3rd, 7 to 9 p.m. And it's a $15 class, 2-hour class for $15. It is $10 only for the next 24 hours. For the next 24 hours, we're also not promoting it. It's just for you guys and you guys who are receiving this, what's it called, recording, who signed up, all 109 of you who signed up for this class. So that will be put out there for you. So if you want to sign up, go right ahead. In addition to that, we have a bunch of stones here at Smile. If you like the idea of really good intentional crystal jewelry, head to omeatthemoon.com. That is Jen Pape, who is one of our employees here. She has her own business, and she's the one who made this gorgeous necklace. And she's actually having a Black Friday sale that goes until this Friday. So I think she's got some pieces left, and they're all 30% off. So when I get my gemstone jewelry now, I'm getting it from Jen unless I wire wrap it myself. And yes, Zoe, I do teach wire wrapping. Then there's also, if you just want to start getting like crystals every month to start your collection and not really have to focus on going out and choosing your own, but having very intentionally, thoughtfully crafted crystals delivered to you, www.gaiacollective.com is actually a really fantastic business that I've had the privilege of working with for the past 2 years. I make all of their essential oil blends, and that's how I've really grown my crystal collection, because they send out 3 different crystals every single month for their monthly moon box. So over the past, I think I've been getting it for a whole year and a half. I've gotten 3 times 18 months. So that's a lot of crystals. That's how my collection's been growing, and they're always different every time because there's thousands of different kinds of crystals and growth matrices out there. So you may want to check that out. And then I also have some awesome crystal books here. The Encyclopedia of Crystals by Judy Hall. We carry that here at Smile. It's awesome. Also the Book of Stones by Robert Simmons. It's huge. It's at least a 500-page book. It has all kinds of physical, mental, and emotional properties of the different crystals and the different crystals that have formed a new kind of crystal because they've grown together and they have different properties, and it details all of it. An excellent book. If you could only get one, I would get that. And then a little bit of Crystals by Cassandra Eason. It's a pretty good one. And then we have, I forgot to put the code in there. So write this down. I'm going to take all your questions now, and Smile wanted to offer a 20% off coupon for you guys with just all capital letters, the word crystal, CRYSTAL. It's only good on the website, so if there's anything that you needed to pick up, you can definitely order it from the website, and we have that coupon for you for the next 24 hours. So next question, ethical sourcing of crystals. Ooh, Anisha, that is a really good question. So yes, crystals can be unethically sourced, like slave labor, and that would put negative vibration around the crystal, but crystals don't have ego. Crystals cannot be permanently negatively affected. That would almost be like a crystal that has a curse. I don't personally believe that a crystal can be permanently negatively affected by that in any way. I personally, well, I mean, I guess it could be really, really, really affected if someone was in a lot of pain and anguish and upset and had that crystal for years, and then that crystal made its way into your hands. I personally don't believe, but that's just my personal belief, that it would hold on to it. Good, careful cleansing would take care of that. Although I would love to have ethically sourced crystals and have most crystals come with a certificate of ethical authenticity, but unfortunately that's not about the point we're at in the world. I get a lot of my crystals from small vendors who get their crystals directly from the source, and they're pretty much nice people, so they don't really go for slave labor or child labor, so I'm pretty confident most of my crystals were ethically sourced, and it's been very few times that I've actually had a crystal in my hand that I felt bad or negative about. So I hope that helps. The class is online. The class coming up is on January 3rd is an online class, a 2-hour webinar. Let's see. So smoky quartz is super interesting. Smoky quartz is what I use when healing to stir up energy and move it away. So I'll use smoky quartz to kind of, do like a little whirlwind holding the crystal to move any negative energy or energy that needs to be released around, and it helps to banish it. And then, so elderly person with dementia. I would need to have a sit down and a think about which crystals would really help with that. For some reason, I'm reaching right towards herbs and aromas when talking about dementia, just because it's herbs are beneficial in general, but the scent and memory connection is so strong that when dealing with dementia, I usually recommend that. I usually recommend rosemary and lemon and peppermint as a mixture to enhance blood flow, cognitive function, and awareness. But I'm happy to look up about crystals with dementia and do a little research for you. But yeah, that scent and memory connection is so strong that I think that's probably best. So are there any other questions before we sign off? I know I've went over the limit a little bit. I'm sorry. Any more questions? You love malachite and keep losing it. Okay, so when you lose crystals, it means that either somebody else around you needed that crystal more than you did, and you were supposed to be the conveyance. And sorry, I just got like 1,000 questions. So you're supposed to be the conveyance to get that crystal to the person it was destined for, or you're not supposed to use it. Malachite's actually a little poisonous, so you'd never put it in water. You'd never put it directly on your skin. If it's in its raw state, it would need to be in its tumbled state. And then you could put it on the skin, but then you'd have to wash your skin because there's some toxicity to malachite. The green color comes from copper. The copper can leach into the skin and cause a problem. So, you don't want to do that. Yoni eggs. Okay. Yoni eggs. So I have a friend that would not appreciate it if I talked about her experience with yoni eggs, but there's been a lot of experimentation done with it to heal sexual trauma by using a yoni egg. I've never tried it. I guess I'm just not that open to doing something like that, and I'm freely admitting that. I'd love to be able to talk about my own personal experience with that, but I don't have the personal experience with that. But I may be able to talk her into teaching a class sometime, so we'll see. Tumbled crystals behave differently from non-tumbled. Absolutely they do. If you can get a stone in its raw form, it's usually better than the tumbled form, the natural state. However, the tumbled stones have the same benefit, but they just, in my opinion, don't work as quickly as in the raw state. The link for the class via email. No, the link for the class is actually right there at the bottom of the screen, Carolyn, in the handout section. There's handouts 1 through 5. If you open that up, you can go ahead and download the Word document that I have, and it has everything that was on the screen in handy-dandy links for you. All right, so it is 8:05, and we have just finished our class on the top 5 crystals that you need today, and I hope I was able to answer your questions. If there were questions I wasn't able to answer or you wanted to talk about privately, smileherbolivia@gmail.com. I'm happy to answer all of your questions, and I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic evening and a journey to your future with crystals. All right, have a great evening. Bye.